Okay, we're finally done with Persona 5.
Everybody here has finished it.
You guys haven't platinumed it yet, though, so you're not done.
Fuck you, we're not doing it.
Oh my god.
You're a psychopath. I'm not. I don't think I'll ever pick up that game again after.
Yeah, real quick, so I did like a 72-hour first playthrough and a 25-hour second playthrough. So let's call that 100 hours. You were at what?
Was it 94?
94, and you were at
114.
How did that happen?
I don't think. Well, there are legit hours too. A lot of time in Mementos.
Okay.
Early on, I was farming cash in Mementos against bosses.
Okay.
So when you cast Confusion on a boss in Mementos, you then can get them to give you like 15 grand on some spends.
Right, yeah.
And so I was farming cash, and I became kind of obsessed with that, and I
just kept doing it?
Yeah, okay. I kept doing it, which was kind of silly because I was not hurting for money near the end of the game. But that happened because of, and I'm going to not know anyone's names or how to pronounce them because I'm not Japanese.
Okay.
And I'm glad they gave us this game, Atlas, here in the beautiful United States of America. But it is a Japanese game for a Japanese audience primarily that we enjoy over here.
Yep.
So the fortune teller's name is Just
go with fortune teller. I think that
fortune
works.
teller or whatever. But she had like a 100,000 yen barrier, right before you could even begin to go down her confidant road. And so that's where I became obsessed with that. A lot of it too, and I don't want to be. I'm here to profess my love for Persona 5. I haven't played a game that long in a very long time, or felt the kind of wonderful melancholy at the end of a game like that in a long time. I was like, what do I do now?
Yeah, I did. I was the exact same way. I was
immediately turn your console back on and you hit New Game Plus. That's the answer to that.
I would never, but but I do understand your logic there because you become attached to these characters.
I didn't want it to end. I didn't want to leave them.
They were my friends from 8 to 10:30 every night for half of a year. So it's hard to let them go.
I just want to hang out in Cafe LeBlanc for the rest of my life.
Oh my god, what's true?
Yeah, just like get some curry and some coffee.
I've really come around on you, man. You too. Oh god, thanks, Chief. God, I'm just gonna sit here.
Calls me Chief.
Do you care if I read?
Yeah.
Do you care if I just read here for a little while?
I might call Kawakami real quick. Have her come do my laundry. I don't know.
So, I am ultimately very positive on the experience, but there's no way you don't spend that much time with one game without you feeling very strongly about the pros and negatively about the cons. There's just no way.
Right there with you.
You don't feel like this is crap and this is awesome. You just don't, because it's too much exposure to one thing for far too long.
Right.
So one of my major roadblocks was I was paralyzed by what to do every day. And the first probably 25 hours were me like running around not knowing what to do. And not knowing how to build social stats properly, what affected what, and then what people to spend time with. Come to find out, I should have been spending time with people more at the beginning of the game because it would have also built my social stats. So I didn't necessarily need to make that choice.
Yeah, I think they were that is an improvement though over the last Persona games because they gave you the you could, I think it's the touchpad, you click it and you could see what everybody else did during that day.
Yeah.
So I think that helped a lot because I could look at it and see like, okay, why are 60% of people hanging out with An today? Maybe it's important I should go hang out with her today.
For me, it was I was looking at it going, I should, like, everybody's hanging out with An. Where the hell is An?
Yeah,
I had no idea how to even start my social link. So it was like, And I was trying to stay away from guides. I was trying to be like, okay, how can I do this with just figuring this out on my own? Is there something I'm missing in the game? And obviously I was, because I was doing the same thing. I was trying to build up my knowledge stats. I was trying to, doing these other things that I shouldn't have been doing. I should have been hanging out with An, and I hung out with Ryuji because I knew how to do that. Yeah. So I had Ryuji maxed out early.
Social link is not the greatest one.
It's the story wise, but at the same time,
it's really not.
No, story wise, it's not. But benefit wise, battle, it's pretty good.
And how it affects the rest of the game,
right? Yeah. And that's that was another part of like, okay, well, which some of their social links were either interesting story wise, or they were really beneficial game wise, and say like I ended up maxing. I guess we should talk about who we maxed out. I maxed out Ryuji and An were my two ones that I maxed out. I got stuck. I wanted to work on Makoto, but once I couldn't go to school anymore, you can't.
She's still outside of the school.
I kept trying to go when she wasn't there.
It's only specific days she's there, but you can go hang out with her.
So
I tried. And
one thing that I didn't discover until later, when you pull up the map, you can then see who's available that day and where you're at.
I just always saw a card.
Right, and then if you hover over that, it says that there's someone there.
If you hit square, it'll let you know who's there and where your confidant rank is. So that's what I'm saying, is that you went through the entire game and didn't know that, and I went through half of it without knowing that.
Wow. Yeah.
And so when you see the cards, you then hit square, and it's where they're at and where your confidant rank is.
And it also shows you...
Which solves that on problem.
It shows you...
And here in America, damn it.
There'll be a little arrow on it if they're going to level up that day, too, or not. So you know if they're going to level up or not.
Fuck me!
So that's how you make the decision on who you're going to spend time with. But who the fuck knew that? It doesn't tell you properly.
I feel like there was things like it held your hands so much on certain things at the beginning, and then other things it was like, nah.
Like, not at all.
Yeah.
From structure.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, what are you doing with your leg? Okay.
Jason's foot has opinions on Persona.
Up or down foot?
A foot? Yeah, it's like...
Probably about 80% there, foot. Good call. Yeah. So, yeah, I've... Those early on frustrations, and then I eventually broke down, and I didn't use a guide, but I started looking at tips and how to spend my time, so I wasn't so paralyzed by indecision. And honestly, if I hadn't looked at that, I don't know if I ever would have finished it. I needed help from the outside world to help me understand how best to spend my time and how to play the games within the games within the games.
Right.
And then once I understood that, it opened the whole thing up for me, and I had a better appreciation of social links, what that means, what the social stats means, how do they affect what it's like in a palace, and what the benefit of spending time with one person over another is, and what do your social links even mean? What do these stats even mean? Oh, okay, there's barriers. You have to have a certain amount of charisma, or a certain amount of knowledge, or a certain amount of...
Advance the social link.
Whatever, to advance this person's social link, which are... Social links, for anyone who doesn't know, or the best way to explain them, are just advancements in their individual stories.
Yeah.
So that's Persona's way of saying side quest for a character.
And there are two major benefits for doing a social link. One is the skills that they get at certain ranks, and the other is they let you fuse much higher level personas.
Because they get a bonus.
You get the bonus for that class of it's a thing. It's a whole thing. But it's cool to me that in this game, like, there's all this surface level stuff, like, that you guys figured out pretty quickly, or maybe you did have to go to a guide for some of it. But there's also, like, this whole other layer of fusing personas and the compendium, and that you have, like, I want this persona because they have, nullification and resistance on these spells, but I want them to also have this skill, so I have to make sure I fuse this one with this one. But wait, I can't do that, so I have to go fuse these two to get this one, and then fuse it with that one. That's the cool part to me, is like it has all these layers, and you don't have to do all of it. You can just play through the game and not worry about it, but it has a lot of depth to it too.
And it exposes you to personas that you otherwise wouldn't have maybe seen or tried. Or you have to be fearless in there too, which I found out, which was hard because you've got this checklist of spells.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever want to be without one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're not willing to make that risk, or you're not willing to do the math on what persona is inheriting what skill and what they're not inheriting, and what your ultimate goal is, like, it's scary, like, to part ways with them, but then you can just buy them back if you want to, but it's a balance. And that's also why I was farming cash, is because I wanted to be able to summon a persona whenever I wanted, so I could reintroduce a skill into a better growth
tree of persona fusing
to eventually get where I'm going to go. But it's a really nice meta game. It's almost a game, like, you could almost see, like, an iOS app where you're just literally creating
There's
personas.
a website that's
is there?
It's the fusion calculator, and it's like I want this persona with this skill, and it's like, okay, here's
I had no idea,
like the main line on how to get that.
That's awesome.
Sometimes you're like, if you want like a level 60 that has this particular skill, sometimes you're starting at like the levels like 8 and 9 guys, and then working your way up from there, because that's the only way you can get it. Or like using Yusuke's ability to make cards, and
that sounds crazy.
Which I never figured out how to make a card.
I didn't dip into that
because I hate Yusuke.
Yep,
I didn't like him.
He's the one guy I just didn't. Really...
His palace, though, like his palace and the Monorama story and his mom, like all of that is really interesting and great. And then you get to anything with him after the palace is like, you're the worst.
yeah.
But that story with Monorama is great.
Yeah.
Everybody's intro story is pretty good. Haru, whatever.
You know what? Haru, we were talking about this the other day. Haru's like, it's weird. Like, the game could go without Haru, but at the same time, she's like dropped in awkwardly into this long story.
Right.
It just doesn't feel weird, but she watches her dad die on a live stream.
Right.
Like, her dad dies on a live stream, and she's like, boy, that was awful.
And basically, and like, you caused it.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, I caused my dad to do to confess all this stuff, and then, I mean, why doesn't she question, like, did we really kill him? And she just automatically believes these brand new people she just met that
I don't know, brand new family. Did we?
Like, no, we didn't do this. And then, but I went back and watched everybody's social link that I didn't finish. Hers is actually interesting.
Yeah,
like her, because
hers is what is it? It's a max level social stat that you have to have, right? Before you even unlock the ability to talk to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it max kindness or something?
Kindness? Maybe, I can't remember.
I forget which one it is, but I watched it, and it all has to do with that fiance. Like, he's still in the picture.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, the abusive fiance?
Yeah.
Her story is fucking... Like, well, everyone's story, to be fair, is tragic. Like, it's all tragic, which is a weird balance for this game, because it doesn't feel like they're dealing with these things emotionally correctly, or maybe it's like an East and West interpretation of this stuff that I'm having trouble with, but it seems like everyone's story is dire and everyone's been through some tragic circumstance, but they're not walking around as heavy-hearted as I think they should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, Haru should be devastated, and she's not. Like, she is what she is.
Well, you kind of get the sense, though, that like her relationship with her father wasn't that great to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
well, I guess he was
kind of
forcing this
mixed
awful
emotions
fiance,
thing. Like, okay, he was a horrible, horrible man. He was my father, but he was a horrible person.
Maybe this is a better example. Ryuji. You guys both maxed Ryuji. Well, you maxed everybody eventually, right? Like, Haru, we're talking about Haru. Like, you have, like, if you maxed her, like, you have this, like, just a few days.
Yeah. Because
she's so close to the end of the game, like, you gotta nail it.
Yep.
To be able to max her,
which is hard.
Or else you just hit the end of the game and you can't do it. But Ryuji, like, the story about his mom and the single parent line, and, like, I'm sure there's lots of people that can identify with, like, Ryuji's talking about picking up groceries for him and his mom, and, like,
really addressed.
That's what I'm saying. Is, like, he's got this more interesting, more, I don't know, something that, like, his circumstance and his challenges are something that people can identify with.
Yeah.
And Instead, it's like, let's get back to the track team, bro.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? What?
I feel like
no.
I feel like his storyline was actually almost closer to the arcade kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah,
like because he had the issue with the single mom, and she was kind of being a little overbearing but yeah, that was, I don't know, that because did you max him out?
No.
Yeah,
not the kid.
I maxed him, Yoshida, the politician guy.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
He does.
He probably is the best one.
The Bernie Sanders of Persona 5.
Right.
Yeah, well, no, his confidant or social link thing is when in negotiations it tells you exactly what to do.
Oh yeah. When you upgrade him, so that way you know.
Yeah, it just highlights whatever it is you need to pick to do that.
The red text. Right?
The red text. Yeah.
His social link though is really good. Like the way that other parties are trying to pay him off to do certain things, and then. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of it all, he just decides, like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do my own thing. If I don't get elected or if I get 0 votes, like whatever, but I gotta stick to
my principles,
the principles that I believe in. And it's more intricate than that as it goes through, obviously. But I thought that was probably the most interesting social link there was.
Good Torah.
Yeah, that no.
I don't know
Torah.
what that means.
And like the diet, like I'm like, who?
Yeah,
like, I don't know anything about Japanese politics. Right. Obviously, is kind of what I've determined.
Congress's diet.
The diet,
something like that. Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Because who else? My other max out was Mishima.
For XP.
Yeah.
He's an annoying old bastard.
He is annoying old shit. But yeah, so I had the arcade guy, Mishima, Yoshida, Kawakami. Because we all did a Kawakami. I don't know if you did her the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you gotta sleep with your teacher.
I didn't do the romance with her.
Oh, you didn't romance her? Did you romance her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, back to romancing. So I romanced on and Kawakami.
Ooh, you piece of garbage.
I was a hot piece of garbage. I did them both. And on Valentine's Day...
How'd that go for you?
Valentine's Day, so you had to pick which one you wanted.
Okay. And they come to LeBlanc, right?
Right, they come to LeBlanc.
Okay.
And so On came to LeBlanc. We had a nice little dinner there. And she gave me some chocolates or something. And then got a phone call, I think, or something. And Sojiro was like, there's something weird's going on here. And he tells On to go home. Kawakami comes and is like,
Sojiro covers for you?
Yeah.
What a cocksman.
Yeah.
That's pretty great with his character.
Yeah. He asks you what he should tell her. And so you can kind of tell him like what you should tell the girl. And then later On leaves, and then Kawakami shows up later and throws all the chocolates at you that she was going to bring. Because I guess in Japan, the woman brings chocolate.
Yeah.
Mm. So she takes them and throws them at you and gets all pissy with you and everything else. But that's really about it, because later on, you actually have a choice then of
who to spend your last night with. And so it's still Kawakami and On. So I have all these choices to pick all the time. So as it was like, you're like, you're going to spend your night with this person, I had to pick each time. Okay.
So,
interesting.
Yes.
Was it like that in Hawaii as well?
I had not chosen a romance or gotten to a romance option by the time I was in Hawaii.
I wasn't maxed either.
Yeah, I wasn't to that point.
I did. I had a nice night with On the Hawaiian beach.
Did you?
It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
You guys got what's the food truck?
No, I don't remember.
I can't remember. It's scallops, maybe.
I gotta tell you, for whatever reason, that Hawaiian music made me happier than anything in the world.
Music's pretty good in Persona 5. It's pretty good. He remembers it. Still with him.
My first way through I did... I romanced On. Didn't really like the ending of it. I didn't really feel fulfilled from that. And I was like, you know what? I only picked you because you were the blonde one.
Blondes.
So then on the second playthrough, I was like, absolutely have to go Makoto, because Makoto is the best character in this game.
She really is kind of the best character. I don't know what it is about her. She just seems the most... fully fledged out. Like I don't care for her social link that much though.
Oh, it's great.
You thought it was great?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
as compared to some of the other ones. I mean,
yeah.
I guess I would have thought that they would have done something other than just like this weird like boyfriend angle with this other girl, like kind of like this other friend. I would have thought it would have, with her character, I was hoping it would have gone more of like a maybe competing with somebody to get into a top university, or that just something along that lines of like strong academics, or like something along the lines of like the student council, like something going on within the school itself.
Yeah.
Like that, instead of just this random friend that she made. That to me just didn't seem like it was that exciting, or I don't know what it was, just I wasn't too into it.
So I maxed out, Caleb maxed out everybody. Right. At one point in time.
Not on the first playthrough, but on the second one, yes.
So I maxed out Ryuji on Makoto, Mishima, Kawakami, obviously, Tai, the Doctor, Yoshida.
Oh, I forgot I did Tai too. Oops.
And Hifumi.
Oh, you got her.
What's the
Shogi?
Shogi, yeah, Shogi player.
Yeah, what was I got social link locked at her, or whatchamacallit.
You got caught
in this.
Yeah.
You guys didn't need enough Big Bang burgers,
dude. Seriously, but you got to do it on the right day. Man.
Yeah,
you can go try the challenge any day, I think.
Yeah, but there's a certain day of the week where it gives you guts and knowledge. That's only and something else.
If you buy like the special burger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think you can buy at any time.
So yeah, the only guide
I thought
that was the day of the week.
You can. The trick is.
I'm thinking of the shake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the juice.
The juice. Sundays or whatever, you can go get the juice bar.
The trick is for the burger. It advances all of, I think it's everything but kindness. You get bonuses in if you're able to eat that whole burger, but you can only eat the burger if your stats are up high enough. So like each one you have to level up in between eating.
I ate a bunch of that burger at the beginning. I kept doing that. Like that was one of the first things I kept doing at the beginning was trying to build my guts, because I wanted to get the stupid bag from the gun guy. Which that
turns out to be useless.
Yeah, and I never did
What's
any
in
of this
there?
stuff.
Actually,
it was just a toy gun. Like you got a gun from him or whatever.
It's just a weapon.
Yeah, and then
because that does turn into
that turns into his social link, which is I didn't think that the social link was very good, and the benefits you get from it are.
What is his? How does his social link end? He's involved with.
I don't even remember something with mafia.
And with the Yakuza.
Yeah,
you'd think that sounds awesome, but it wasn't good.
I just watched it online, and I thought it was just okay.
Okay.
I thought Ties was really good though.
Yeah,
I liked Ties story too. Yeah, Ties is really strong with the sick kid, right?
Yeah, the sick kid, and then you end up
taking down. You change
the director of the other hospital or whatever, and then you get your job. Like she offers you. Yeah, did she take her job back? I forget.
No, she stayed.
She stayed, right? Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, they offered her a job, but I couldn't remember if she took it or stayed. Did you go and have the? Because I had the option to romance her, but I'd already had done On and Kawakami. I was like, I don't know if I can do a third. I was like, oh man, I can't remember if I can do it. I was like, I might be pushing it. I was like,
what about the palaces for you guys? Which ones were your favorite palaces?
Well, we're talking about social links real quick. I just want to finish out. We're talking about their individual stories. I liked Hifumi. Am I saying? I might not be saying that. I don't know. Right? The Shogi player. Yeah. The Shogi player. Maxing out hers. I liked where she gets to the end of. You get towards the end of hers, and she gets her ass handed to her at like this televised tournament, and she comes back. And she's like, "Oh man, I thought I was good, but I got worked," and it's just kind of I don't know. I really like the way they handle that because like she takes the setback really well, and like this whole time I was like she's gonna be devastated, and she's like, no, I'll get back on the horse. It'll be fine. Maybe this isn't my life. Maybe I have a different path. And I was like,
because like her dad was pushing her.
It's her mom.
It was her mom. Yeah, that's right. I remember one of the.
I just like the end of that. Like it was. we were talking about earlier, like how terrible some of these side stories are. Like hers was
Right.
actually a fairly positive end.
Like everyone else in the game is like the best at what they do, so it's really nice to see like finally like one character.
Maybe
that's
that
like,
was it.
Okay, you're
Hassan's
not
a
the best.
model.
Yeah.
Ryuji's a track star.
Well, Ryuji didn't go back to the track team
you're right.
either. He stayed. But yeah.
Palaces.
There were rumors, or it might be confirmed even, but she was allegedly the last party member. Like you were going to get her as a party member. So
Really?
Yeah.
Of what palace? I don't know. But yeah, if they might, unless there would have been a whole other palace thrown in there.
Yeah.
You want to break it and go through the palaces? Can we remember them all?
Kamoshida.
Okay.
Madarame.
Madarame.
I forget the guy's name, but it was
Kaneshiro.
Yeah.
Is that the gangster one?
Yeah,
Kaneshiro.
that's when you get
That's
Makoto.
Makoto's.
That's Makoto's. And then there's Futaba's palace.
Yeah.
Oh,
Futaba's
yeah,
palace.
Futaba.
Yeah, and then there is the burger guy,
Oh, it starts with an O, doesn't it?
Okumura.
Mm-hmm.
Okumura, then Sai, then Shido, then whatever the hell you want to call that last thing. Mementos, yeah. Yeah.
The Fresh Maker.
The Fresh Maker. For me, best palace would probably be, let's say, probably Okumura. Or
Which one was Okumura?
Okumura was, or Kaneshiro, actually. I'm gonna go maybe Kaneshiro. I really like that bank one.
The bank one.
The bank one. Oh, the Okumura one's the one with the airlocks.
Okay. That would be mine.
The one with the airlocks.
Yeah. That was the one time in the game where I felt like I actually had to think about the puzzles in the palace. The rest of them were kind of like, you go to this room and then circle back over to this switch and then go back over.
Yeah, I had some trouble there. I was just really tired.
The
game I've fallen asleep the most playing ever. Persona 5.
I've fallen asleep 3 or 4 times playing Persona 5.
20, 25. Easy.
There's where
I have footage of probably. I have footage of me in Hawaii, like 4 minutes not hitting X. Then I finally hit it. I'm like, jeez.
I'm pretty sure. Oh yes, because you're recording everything. I'm pretty sure there was one day where I fell asleep for a half hour.
Yeah,
and it was just right where you're sitting, right there. It was like an afternoon. I was just really tired. And I just.
Where am I? What happened?
Like, what happened here?
The best one, I was getting a little off topic, but the best one, I was playing co-op Borderlands 2 with a friend, and I just see his character, like, just running into a wall, just over and over, bouncing off the wall, and then running back in, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, what? I'm like, did you fall asleep as we were playing co-op? Anyway.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. So, your favorite palace, Logan?
I'm gonna go Madarame not Madarame, Kaneshiro with the bank. Yeah.
Yeah. Caleb?
The Okumura that was a space station.
Space station, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like the look of Size. Probably the best.
Remind me of that.
Casino.
The casino.
Okay.
I think it looks really cool.
It's been several months since I played this
game. Yeah,
game.
it's the casino, if that helps you.
Yeah. Jason and I have just finished this up within the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. But I want to say Kaneshiro is probably my favorite too. Yeah.
I don't like his character, and I didn't like the story, but I think the overall palace was the best.
Yeah, I think the palace is cool.
I still think...
It's also before things go a little wacky with the palaces, in my opinion. They get a little bit
Futaba's was weird.
And they get, in my opinion, a little bit unnecessarily obtuse.
Shido's was fucking awful.
Was Shido's the boat?
The boat.
Yeah, with that one was the worst.
The hallways, you turn into mice all the time.
I think you're... Yeah, that's one of... I feel like you're kind of screwing with your audience a little bit there. Like, this game is very long, and you know what you're getting into when you're playing it. Like, you don't come to a game like Persona without knowing what you're getting into. But at that point in time, like, you're several hours in, and I'm not really looking for that kind of challenge at that point in time.
Especially on New Game Plus, when I'm like, I just need to get through these palaces as quickly as possible to get back to the social links. And it's just like, that one, just, there's no speeding through it. It's
There's
like you
not.
have to do every single little
A
thing.
to B to C to D to unlock the next place in a very specific order. There's no way. And I only went through it once and I grew weary of it.
That's why we told you to stop playing it before that.
Yeah, I was too
like,
far in. And at that point I had already Caleb did this too, but I went into Mementos and used the Reaper exploit, if you want to call it an exploit, or maybe it was planned.
I did that on New Game Plus, but not New Game.
I went in there because I was tired. I was just tired of thinking about anything other than just getting to the end of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to shut my brain off, and so that's what I did. And
when you did that, did you when the fights basically you could just?
Yeah, I was telling Caleb this. I don't not attack. Attack, you were still kind of chipping away, but your magic was pretty devastating.
Yeah.
But if
you just full auto it, you had to do something.
I could have, but it would have taken a while because like and you're just chip damaging and not like I expected to like do 2 attacks and have something 30 levels below me die, but it wasn't that way. But with magic, it was that way.
Yeah, you hit a weakness on somebody. If you're that high leveled up, you're going to be flying through that. Yeah. So, okay. What else? I'm trying to think of what other things that we should address with this whole mess. I guess. There's so many
thoughts.
You got thoughts.
If you want them, I got them.
Let's just hit the story here of like what hit for you well, what completely missed the boat, what was completely unnecessary. I'll at least say the game had me hooked from the Kamoshida story. That was I would say the strongest story of the game for me. I think of just the getting you introduced to the game, making me
Kamoshida's a real piece of crap.
Yeah, making me really hate that motherfucker. Like
it's actually a bit of a disservice to the game because they start out with that and they never really get back to another villain that's as hated as him. Yeah. So it's almost like they have to
revisit Shido several times and you have to be reminded why you hate him.
Right.
Instead of like Kamoshida comes so naturally.
And I think it's a lot of it is partly because like everyone kind of knows somebody like that. That's something that you could easily like I bet you guys, if you think hard enough, can remember a teacher in high school where you're like, I think that guy was pretty close to Kamoshida.
Yeah, maybe not. They
maybe not quite.
Maybe they didn't go full out, but maybe
if the story came out that they did, you'd be like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, maybe in their cognition they thought they were this way, like they had their own lady on, which. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of. It's like, oh yeah, I had that teacher that had that crush on that girl, and you could definitely tell, like, like that was. Yeah, that for sure. They came a little early on that one. They because I mean
you had to put it that way.
Well, I mean that's
Kamoshida's a gross guy.
He is a gross guy, but I mean he was above and beyond the best villain.
Yeah.
I mean even like Kaneshiro, who was kind of almost faceless. I mean, what he was doing was terrible. I mean, blackmailing high school kids and using them as drug runners and everything else. Like, that wasn't...
That's where my main major disconnect with the story is like, these are terrible pieces of crap. And so it's noble what you're doing. But Ryuji seems to be the only one who's appropriately fired up about it. Like, he's like, what a piece of... we need to murder this man. And everybody's like, calm down, Ryuji. We'll fix it. He's like, you're right. But, and that made sense to me, but there's just such this disconnect with, like, it seems like these people are barely hanging on at times, and maybe I don't know, it's just, it didn't seem like it had the appropriate gravity for me.
I think that's a Japanese culture
That's
thing.
What I was wondering, if it's just this cultural disconnect.
Right.
We
get real fired up about stuff.
Okay, maybe that's it.
And so Ryuji and On definitely, but was Ryuji actually Japanese?
Yes.
I think so.
Well, because with the blondness.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if...
I guess he just dies. I don't know.
Because she said she moved around. She was not Japanese. She was...
Yeah, they make and she speaks English in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
So they make a point.
I think at some point in there he does confirm that he dyes his hair, but I don't remember where or how I saw that.
I just was gonna say, like, if that was
fits in with his punk kid, like,
yeah, because everybody else is very proper. I mean, for the longest time, I don't know why, but I thought Makoto's was not wearing anything underneath her little black thing.
You were seeing the sweater.
I wasn't seeing the sweater, like, because it was like very skin toned because she's very pale. Yeah. But it was white, and I'm like, why does it look like she's wearing like a bikini top all the time? Like, she's supposed to be this very clear cut and proper person. Then it was like, oh, there's a tiny little button like right under her chin. Like, I was like, oh,
turtleneck.
It's a turtleneck. Yeah. Like, as I started paying more attention, I was like, I get it now. Like,
it's like in Final Fantasy IX, Aiko has like tan leggings, and then like her shirt comes down like around her crotch, kind of, so it looks like she's just bare crotch the whole time.
I forgot just as we were talking about this, but I'm really glad that none of us romanced Futaba.
Yeah, that's
just, a little she's an optional romance, and that's just weird.
Well, they're all kind of underage, right?
Well, but you're also underage, but I guess I'm thinking like...
I don't know about you creeps, but Kawakami's older than I am.
Yeah, but I was more thinking of it like you kind of bring her in as like your like little sister.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
Did you watch the romance option for her?
I didn't watch it.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's more of what it is. Like, I brought you here because I want you to be my official little sister or something like that, instead of like an actual romance.
Because that's where I never got...
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So.
I got her to a 9, and that's where I had the option to romance her, and I never did the 10, but I said, no way. I was like that, I couldn't...
I wonder if Sejiro, like, if there's some dialogue there or something, like, you're cool with me if you want to be with her. Like, I don't know, like, because he's her guardian, or... Like,
and again, that's another cultural thing, too. Like, the age of consent over there is way younger, so...
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I want to wrap my head around, or at least what I said you guys help me with, is... And this could be in, like, a Japanese, like, gaming thing. It gets... Everything is pretty for being about cognition and changing people's hearts, and for that to be as absurd as it is, it still feels like it's pretty grounded.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, this person is terrible. I'm going to Inception them.
It's very black and white.
Yeah, right? Like, I'm going to go into their head and make them atone for what they've done and realize that they are in the wrong. Not only make them realize they're in the wrong, but I'm going to make them admit what they've done. And live with those mistakes. And so that's what the game is about. Mm-hmm. All the way even up to Shido.
Yeah.
And then there's the final dungeon.
That shit goes off the rails at that point.
It gets a little wacky. And if it had to end that way because it's an Atlas game, because it's a JRPG,
it's because it's a Japanese game.
It has to end. Because there's various levels to it. So the first thing we'll talk about is the palaces. Palaces, contained, targets, love it, change their heart. I can get on board with that because I know this is a person. I see this person. I've seen how this person treats people.
Yes and no.
They need to be bossed. They're a boss. I can take out this boss.
I would counter that by saying that there's some problems with that too, because it just assumes that everyone, like, if you take away everything, everyone at their core is a good, honest person, and we need to change them so that they get back to being a good, honest person. And that's a little bit idealistic. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, they could have gone way deeper into gray areas there, and they just didn't. But
they're also supposed to be teenagers, and they should be idealistic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's kind of my other thought, I guess, on it, is they've got an idealistic view of the world. And
so there's that, and that's a good point, because the game is big on adults are screwing up, let's fix the world for them, because they can't handle it. And so, like, with a very idealistic and somewhat naive way, like, they go into this and thinking I think it does a really good job of towing the line, too, of, like, oh, did we screw up? Guys, I think we screwed up.
Yeah.
And, like, so knowing that their will is good, but, like, admitting when they may have gotten something wrong. Then there's the palaces, and then there's the Akechi thing. And so there's this little boy detective who is a contemporary of yours who has some kind of civic authority. Like, he works for the cops, but he doesn't. But he's also a talking head on TV shows. Like, who is Akechi? How did he get his job? Did he manipulate hearts to get his job? Is that what we're to assume?
Yeah, and is he a couple years older? Is he out of high school? Like, I feel like he's not a high school student.
I'm not sure. I know in Persona, it wouldn't. Okay, there is precedent there. He might just be a high school kid because in Persona 4, there's definitely just a girl that works as a detective that's also in high school. So they might.
That's what's so weird is they're like to have a good antagonist equal to a protagonist. The Matrix thing, one doesn't exist without the other. The anomaly doesn't exist without the Smith doesn't exist without Neo, kind of thing. Yeah. So I get why Akechi is a teenager.
Yeah.
Because I'm a teenager. But it just seems so absurd.
Right.
To have Akechi be this major threat and have him not be an adult when everyone else is an adult. So I understand why it's structured that way because he has to be kind of counterpart to you, the main character. But it felt fake the whole way to me, and it wasn't a big surprise when it was like Akechi he pretended to be your friend for a while. Yeah. He's not your friend.
Which, by the way, did you guys catch the pancakes thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
I did.
Did you?
But I didn't think anything of it because I was like, oh, that's just like, they missed that in localization, or like that's a weird.
Oh, sure.
Like maybe somebody else was supposed to have said that line.
That's a totally reasonable.
And I saw that and I'm like, wait, but Morgana said that. Oh, well, maybe, and then I thought, well, maybe he's been in Mementos before, because some of the other characters had, too.
Yeah, that's true.
As I remember thinking back on the scene, I just thought that, I thought that they were, having a discussion, and that, your character also said something about getting pancakes, and was like, so that didn't even cross my mind. I thought it was just, this random conversation that you were having with Morgana, and, about pancakes, and he walks around the corner and was like, oh yeah, pancakes, oh. I didn't even think about it that he
did someone say something about delicious pancakes.
I love this.
Is that what Akashi's voice sounds like?
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Sounds like a jerk.
But the way they tried to make him kind of good at the end too.
They have redeeming stuff.
I don't know.
Pretty idealistic.
It's the adult's fault for what Akechi did. No, Akechi's an asshole. He's always been an asshole.
And let him be the son of the asshole that's an asshole. He was doing it for other reasons.
I think we can pretty much all agree that the ending's a little messy.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. That's where I'm going with that. Is I was in with the palaces. Even I didn't like the way they handled Akechi throughout the whole game, but I could deal with that. And then Cheeto as the big bad, sure, fine. But then it goes into
save the universe from
the universe, right? Real fast too, right. Really fast. So we go from him to being then it's the public's heart we're changing,
right?
More or less.
But that's also a god.
So he exists because the public created him?
Yeah. Something. No.
That whole last ascending tower, too, of going through all Gabriel and all the saints and stuff
the
on the
angels
way. Angels, the 3 angels. Yeah. Oh my god. I wanted to be done with that game so fucking bad at that point in time. I was just fuck.
It keeps going.
It just keeps going, and there's just more and more bad guys you gotta run around and everything else. I
didn't understand it. I think I've kind of got a loose understanding. That God doesn't exist without the public having
It's been a while since I've read it, but I have an article. I'll send it to you guys that kind of talks about the the philosophy and the like why it's written that way from a Japanese culture perspective, stuff like that.
Because it just has to end a certain
right.
way.
It has to end with you saving the universe from a corrupt god or something. Because that's the way that all Japanese games end.
Okay. Like, why can't you just take down the bad politician and it be over with? Like, that was kind of...
save Japan that way.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is great. I finished the game at like 78 hours. Like, what do you mean I have 16 more hours to go? Like...
Okay. Yeah, that's I think... Otherwise, I'm really positive on it, but I think it just goes a little wacky there at the end.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the... So, like... The whole deal at the end of Shido's thing, Ryuji... is it at the end of Shido's thing? Ryuji jumps the... Yeah, because he's on the boat.
Oh, right.
And he just magically is right back there. Like, I was waiting for them to kill off a major character.
That was never going to happen.
And wanted them to kill off a major character. Like, I haven't played a Persona game before, so I don't know how this works.
Akechi was your pound of flesh, buddy.
I was like... I wanted it to happen just because I thought it would be a good twist in a game, and even Morgana coming back later, I was like, oh, fine.
Oh, I was jacked to see Morgana. I was like, yeah! I was happy about that.
Do you want to know, like, potential spoilers for the other games?
What, Persona 4?
For Persona 3 or Persona 4?
I will never play them, probably.
Okay.
So.
Jason,
I started 3, but I'll never finish it.
They killed off a playable character in Persona 3.
Okay.
You get him, and you can only use him for, like, 2 in-game weeks, and then I think it's a bunch of drug dealers. So one of the party members is a young child, like, really young child, and he literally steps in front of a bullet for the kid, and then he dies. Like, in the real world, not in the world where you can actually take
God, Persona 3, it's so
Persona
dark.
3 is way dark.
Yeah, it's so dark.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I guess at that point, I thought that the game was almost over anyway. So I thought that Ryuji was just gonna be it. And like the fact that he just walked up, and I was like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just thought that was
went real
huge
dark
cop out
with Persona 3. They went real dark. Persona 4, they swung all the way the other direction and made it really like lighthearted and bright. And then Persona 5, they kind of tried to split the difference. And I think that's what your problem is like they could have gone a little bit more dark with it. And they didn't.
Like, the level of risk that they were up against, like, something more risky needed to happen, I guess, was the way I'm looking at it. Like, they were always like, you know, going into people's minds and everything else, and Shido taking that drug and everything, like, there should have been a consequence, and there really wasn't a consequence. So I felt like that, and even when there was, like, all the stuff with, Sai and everything else, it was like, oh yeah, they had this plan the whole time. So, like, their big downfall was really never... Yeah. They never really had a big downfall because it was all planned to begin with, and they were always smarter, and like they never. That's what I say. It was like you on the outside looking in looked like we had a downfall, but we never really did.
Right.
And maybe that's where I'm having trouble articulating. Like, you just feel like for all these things that have gone bad, things went pretty well.
Not enough climax, too much denouement.
Or like collateral, yeah. Or some collateral damage along the way.
By the time,
or maybe I'm forgetting. Am I forgetting some collateral damage?
No, I think that's the thing is by the end of the game, I mean, you're looking. I mean, like all your friends are there. Everybody that was bad is now gone, and you've lost nothing out of it. Yeah, like there's been.
Then they try to do another mini climax with the whole god angel thing, and that didn't get to nearly the height.
No, I felt like that was just...
because you're not invested in any of that.
Right.
No. All you're invested in is your targets.
Right.
Right.
And then you think, oh, here's Shido. And you can get with that because even though they cram it down your throat, like, this is what made me. You made me. It's like Batman and Joker. Like,
right.
You made me first. And so you finish that and then whoa, now we're over here doing this.
Oh, and it's like, yeah, there's this other outlying thing that's really made this whole thing all happen with the Velvet Room guy and everything else. And
I would understand if someone would passionately defend Persona 5 because they love it. Like, I would, you guys know how I feel about it. Like, if somebody came at me, like, I would shut your mouth. You know, like, you're wrong. This game's great for millions of reasons. But if somebody wants to really defend that last part, like, it's...
I can't.
How can you care? Because you just met all these gods, and how do you care? You know, it's hard to.
It's like, as much as we're kind of sitting around here, we've been beating it up for almost 50 minutes at this point. I fucking love this game.
No, it's great.
I love it. It's like
that's why it's disappointing for me at the end, because I really enjoyed it so much that I wish that it was just a little tighter. That's all.
Like, you could have gone without, like, cut it 10 hours shorter, and especially at the end.
Let me ask you guys this to kind of lead into our Game of the Year discussion without spoiling our Game of the Year discussion. Where would this have ranked on last year's Game of the Year list for you guys?
On last year's Game of the Year list? One or two.
Okay.
You trying to remember your Game of the Year last year? Well, it was Titanfall too.
No, it was Uncharted, wasn't it?
God damn it.
Yeah. I think probably 4.
Fourth?
4, wow. So it would have been what, like Uncharted, Doom,
Titanfall.
Titanfall.
Titanfall's close.
Okay.
3. I could have it. I could have it beat Titanfall probably. Doom's so good.
This would have easily been number 1 on my list last year.
Really?
Like, by a lot.
That far past Stardew?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Stardew Valley, but this is a different level.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that, I would say maybe 1 or 2, but I still find myself even going back and playing a random Titanfall game today. Which is kind of weird. I mean,
that's what it's for.
I guess, yeah.
It's supposed to be.
But I love the story of that game. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So, anything else? What song sticks in your head? I guess is the one that you.
The one you were just humming like half an hour ago. It's still in my head.
The
really high pitched one.
Oh boy, no!
That's a tie. Like the room music.
I can't think of anything else because of...
Oh jeez.
That's not it.
Nope.
That's not it. Nope.
Nope. None of that is.
What is this?
What is this? Is right. Oh, that's because wait. That's not it at all. I had to create. Sorry. That's not it either.
God, soundtrack's really good.
It is. That song.
Yeah.
This is the song that gets stuck in my head.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Mine's the battle music and the daily music.
There's a really great Busta Rhymes mashup with the intros being. It's so good.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. I'm glad I was able to put in Uncharted quickly because I was really like, what am I going to do with myself? Like, because I've been playing this forever. Like, what do I do? I mean, I'm a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
What else would I be?
Yeah.
just...
That's a good point. Like, you are a shapeshifter. What did I do with I had all the Persona music somewhere around here, and I thought I
get the battle music in my head more than anything. Like,
I don't know. Was it? It's this song? I'm so confused on what. Yeah, it's this one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I forgot that's what this was called. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the flute that comes in here. I think it's flute. I don't know what it is.
Yaz flute?
It's a little Yaz flute, yeah. But yeah, this is the Hawaii music, yeah.
Well, you should yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a travel
takedown on this video.
Yeah, I don't know if we talk over it. Okay, so I panicked and I hit stop on the recording and not stop on iTunes. All right. Anyway,
I have one more thing to say.
one more thing.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did you guys get the good ending?
I think so.
I think the good ending it was that you finished like because you can
there's two places where you can go.
Oh,
wrong.
right, yeah.
Right. What was
it? Just stops the game there, though. You don't.
Yeah, like if you're in the Velvet Room and you just say like, "Nope, I'm good." Like,
will it stop the game?
I think I think the ending is right there.
So but before that, there's the way you answer size questions, right?
Yeah,
and it'll stop the game there as well.
I think so.
If you have the option to sell out your friends.
Oh.
Before Akechi kills your, we need to talk about that. The cognition you that's not you that is you but isn't, and that's size cognition.
That's what I said before about like how like everything looked like it was going to be really downhill, but you actually had a plan the whole time. You just didn't know it.
Like,
like,
Ocean's 11 did.
Yeah, yeah. That's wacky. It's.
I had to think about that many times, and I had a slight headache as I was trying to figure out how all of it went down.
Whatever. Fake you was assassinated.
Yeah, the cognitive one me. Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and then Igor offers you... What does Igor offer you?
I don't remember.
I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
He's like, I think he was kind of like, here, like, you can either...
Sell out everybody?
Well, I think you can either... Yeah, it was either, like, you can keep the world the way it is, and your friends are going to be hunted down by the cops, or you can do this. And it was like, I guess I'll do this. Yeah.
So there really is just there's just the one true ending then. That's good to know.
Mm.
Okay.
Hanging out in the van on the way to
your house.
Your house, I guess.
Home, wherever you're from.
Which was really weird. Like, I thought that as you're all friends together in those cutscenes, like, especially at the end, like, the person you romanced is just kind of, like, hanging out in the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, why aren't we sitting together? Like, there's no other extra conversation. Like, nope. And Ann's just kind of hanging out there. She's in the back seat with Makoto.
That stuff's too hard. Like, you can't make that.
You can't do like 18 cutscenes.
You can't animate all that.
I just thought it was weird. Yeah, that like
I did love how Morgana stole the part from the surveillance team before you leave Japan or Tokyo. I guess that was great.
Oh, like when she was fixing the car?
Yeah, so I
would still say it's a she. I don't know why it's a he, but I keep saying...
You get it fixed and like...
It's not necessarily a he, it could be a she.
They say he
all the time. They say he all the time, and he's always in love with... Yeah.
They never explicitly say.
No. I always just... Morgana just seems like a girl's name to me, so I always just have said she.
I like the one question at the beginning when it's like, what do you think I am? And then you can pick a boy, a girl, or a bus.
Oh, can you really? That's pretty good. Okay, I didn't remember that.
Oh yeah, well I guess you need to plus it. It's like, yeah, you are a bus, aren't you? Like,
I totally a bus.
And for fuck's sake, Mementos sucked. I hated Mementos.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either.
There was sections of it that were really, really bad.
Don't play Persona 3 because that is the entire game.
It's Mementos?
Basically. It's basically a randomly generated floor, and then you have to find the staircase to go to the next one, the next one, the next one.
Yeah, it was...
It's a long time ago. Games have changed quite a bit.
Yeah. So, alright. Anything else we have to say about this nonsense?
Nope.
Because otherwise, if we didn't do this now, we would have done it at Game of the Year.
And then we would have talked about nothing
talked about it for an hour. And so...
I don't know if I'll ever play a game that many hours ever again.
Well, Persona 6 isn't coming out for another 10 years, so I think we're okay.
I don't know if I'll do it, man. This was like a...
At that point, you'll be retired. You'll have all the free time.
Yeah, my great state pension will be great. It's a huge commitment. And I really am glad that I enjoyed it as much as I did, because if it was...
I thought for sure you guys were going to drop off somewhere in the middle. Like,
it's
I didn't think you were going to finish
it's
it.
It's too good. It was even for all of its faults, especially at the end there, it's too good. It was too good not to finish. It's too good.
And you guys had, like, perfect timing, too, because you got it, like, right before this, like... the big fall rush, so...
That was the plan. It was like... And I really wanted to try to finish it before Destiny came out. Because I was like, okay, I wanted to really...
Yeah.
Before the fall hits, and that just... It was like 30
It's
days.
a commitment, man. You really... you don't beat Persona 5 like casually.
Right.
No matter
Caleb
how
did
hard.
twice.
Well, yeah,
but
yeah, that's true. But even you committed to carve out time for it. Like it doesn't happen.
I never played
effort.
on New Game Plus, and then I was so attached to the characters in that world that I was like, I want to go back into this. I don't want this to be done.
Yeah, it's the only time I'm critical of it is because I liked it that much. And it's not wrong to want something more out of it, but overall as a total package, it's great.
I definitely find myself being the most critical of not even just games, but movies and TV that I like the most because they're so close to perfect. You just want them to be perfect.
Well, and that you're so invested and you like things that much that you are critical of things that you really, really like. So.
It's a good one.
If you didn't care about it, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Right.
So
it's not for everybody, but if you like JRPGs, that's.
But I'm not even a JRPG guy, and I wouldn't say you really have been for the last.
Not recently.
No, and the fact that we both sat down and we really liked this and we plowed through it, and
there's something just. It's too charming.
Yeah.
Like there's too much good other than bad. There's too much to just one more day. One more day.
Yeah.
One more day. Like it's just it's really good. It's really great. And it doesn't have some of that, like talking about JRPGs, it at least wise doesn't have like the fake gravitas of some Final Fantasy games and other stuff like that, where they're really trying to drum up the world and get you to care about it. And like, no, actually, I care about it because of the characters and the people I've met and the social links and the relationships to those people that I've developed.
And it's in a modern world, like everything
that
really helps too. Is like this is day-to-day life of. I mean, they're on a cell phone. They're walking streets of a modern city. It's not something and some science fiction thing or some olden times thing.
Be curious to see what the Palace Dungeon, whatever gateway is in Persona 6 when it comes out a million years from now.
So are we getting Persona 5 Dance All Night is the question.
Yes.
We are.
You didn't know that?
No.
So they actually already announced this. It's Persona 3 Dancing. Oh, I can't remember how it works. Dancing Moon Knight and Persona 5 Dancing something Star Night. I think that's how it is. But yes, they're both coming. Persona 3 Dancing and Persona 5 Dancing are absolutely in the works.
And are they literally dancing games?
They're like the rhythm games.
They're rhythm.
Did you ever play the Persona 4?
No, I have no. I just know it exists.
He's in now, though.
Yeah,
I'm in now. If I
gotta see it.
I gotta do a little. I don't know, some sort of DDR with Futaba and Yusuke because I could give two shits.
What about the fighting game?
I don't think there's anything.
There's a Persona 4 fighting game.
There's Persona 4. There's Persona 4 Arena, which I would highly recommend. That story it's like a condensed Persona story, and it's really, really good. They introduce a new character who's really like one of the best characters in any of the Persona games.
Okay.
And then Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is the sequel to that, which is not. They introduced another character, and it's not nearly as good.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be curious if we get like while we're working on this next project. Here's the characters you love in a fighting game.
And they do that all the time. Like Persona Q came out for the 3DS, which is a mashup of the 3 and 4 characters.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, there will be other stuff with these characters in it. I can pretty much guarantee that.
All right,
let's call it a night.
I'm going to play a lot of other games for the next 7 weeks.
Just one game, a different game every night.
That's more
until
than 7 weeks. we got like 11 weeks. We're middle of October.
Oh yeah.
So you're looking at like 10 weeks for
That's got like a 2-week window in December before we want to talk.
Yeah, before we get together.
Because when did we talk last year?
Too early.
Really?
Did we do it too early?
Yeah. We all had too much stuff going on, something. So I think we sat down on like December like 20th, or night was the 19th. I remember.
Yeah, but we gotta get it done.
Yeah, but we get more games played when we have time off.
Yeah.
Because, and then if we can actually have time off to play the games, then we should record them.
There's a balance there, too, because I don't like it when places go into January to do their game of the year.
Right.
Like, it needs to be done in December, but as close to the end as possible.
Yeah, it's hard, because I don't want to be putting stuff out that says Game of 2017 when our calendar date is 2018.
Yeah, everyone's done with 2017 by that point.
Yeah, but at the same time,
struggle.
We haven't played everything, and we haven't gotten a chance to touch everything yet, I guess is what I'm saying.
Anyway,
we
could do this in the next production meeting. I'm not on air.
I can always cut it off at some point, or edit it out, whatever. Anyway, this was Persona 5. We did it.
Here's to you, Atlas.
315 hours of Persona 5 in this room.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's for sure.
I don't feel so good.
All right. Well, hope everyone enjoyed that nonsense. Hopefully this doesn't get taken down for the 2 minutes of random background music. Hopefully not. All right. Thank you.